Hello friends, today I am here to discuss group dynamics. We are doing interpersonal skills, and while discussing interpersonal skills, I think that group dynamics is very important. In the present scenario, there is a work culture, that is the teamwork culture. When we talk of teamwork culture, well, group dynamics become very important. Now, what is group dynamics and the types of group dynamics, and what are the factors to improve it? And this is all to get success in life, to excel in life. So, have you ever wondered why some teams get everyone rowing in the same direction, while others just struggle or sink to the bottom? So, have you ever wondered? It all has to do with team dynamics. This is because of the team. Team dynamics are the behavioral relationships between members of any given team. How a team interacts, communicates, and works together has a dramatic impact on how successful a team is in meeting its goal. Of course, dealing with human behavior is always tricky. There is no way to control how people respond to one another. As the team leader, you can affect the dynamics through team building strategies. Imagine that you have brought together the brightest people in your department to solve a problem. You have high hopes for the group, so you feel frustrated when people can't come to a decision. As you create new teams or evaluate existing teams, look for these characteristics. As you identify gaps, make suggestions on team building training, how to develop a team. Now, when we talk of group development, well, 7 characteristics of team dynamics that make for a winning team, and we should consider it. The first is shared purpose. The difference between a team and a group is that a team has a shared goal. When a group of people work together, it is crucial that everyone is clear on what that goal is. If your team has trouble making decisions and seems to battle itself at every critical point, it is time to do some digging to find out whether or not everyone is on the same page. A popular method for goal setting uses the acronym SMART, S-M-A-R-T. Effective goals should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Well, the concept SMART will certainly help you to attain your goal with the steps important for a very active group or good group dynamics. Team members need to feel safe to share information and ideas without fear of punishment or embarrassment. Trust opens the door to dialogue that can lead to better ideas and more creativity. Team members must also be able to trust that everyone will meet their deadliness, carry their weight, and do their part of the work. As the leader, it is your responsibility to build accountability. If you are in a leadership position, ask yourself, do my team members trust me? Well, this is very important point when you work with your team member or groups. Trust faith in a team is very important. Well, to build accountability among the team through honesty, transparency and openness is equally important. Transparency is the core of success in any organization, and so is honesty and openness. An important aspect of accountability is the willingness to acknowledge and correct mistake. When success is dependent on results, a productive team must establish the appropriate processes for measurement and evaluation. Track your work and be willing to change course if results are not where they should be. Well, with some practice, you can evolve a course, a line of action for a successful group dynamics. A successful team will look for opportunities to learn from the situation. They will not let past mistakes limit their future success. Winning teams leverage the different thoughts and ideas held by each member to come up with more innovative and creative solutions. If you find that your team comes up with ideas unanimously, quickly and often, your team might be experiencing groupthink, which is debt to creativity. Be sure to encourage diversity within your team so it can settle on the best idea, not the easiest one. In a cross-functional team, you may achieve diversity simply by mixing members from different departments with different skills and perspectives. If you are building a departmental team, you can achieve diversity in your hiring practices by expanding your recruiting sources to attract diversity in age, sex, ethnicity, and sexual identity. Each team member should know why they are part of the team. They should understand their value and responsibility. If your onboarding is rushed or disorganized, you may miss this. If a new team is created for a special project, the team leader must establish this upfront. Think about how much more productive your team would be if each member had the sense of ownership for the work of others as they did for their own work. Members of such a team could lean on each other for ideas and assistance. After all, two heads are better than one. When a team is focused on fulfilling its purpose, members can work together to make it happen without keeping tabs on how much they give or take. In our discussion, we shall know the very concept of team building. As I said, that group dynamics is very important to excel in a professional world. Well, as the team leader, it is one's responsibility to support the member in their interdependence and reinforce their sense of belonging through all of the stages. And what are the stages? Forming, storming, norming and performing. Well, consensus decision making is also very important. Harnessing the power of the team can result in innovative and out-of-the-box solutions. Having more people involved in decision making can channel the creative power of multiple minds. The key is consensus decision making, which requires the right processes to be in place. A few strong personalities might dominate the discussion. You want to avoid decision by peer pressure, of course. There will be time when members will have to compromise and come up with the best blend of an idea, as long as they don't feel coerced. Well, during this discussion, we shall also discuss making group decisions, which will explain how to take an organized approach to group decision making to gain consensus. Decision making is very difficult, and decision making meetings must begin with a clearly defined desired outcome to focus the group. Designate a facilitator and timekeeper. The process continues with information gathering, analysis, brainstorming, and evaluation. There is nothing worse than a micromanager. Not only do they stifle creativity, but they often undermine an employee's sense of ownership, confidence, and sense of trust by encouraging a climate of fear. Participative leaders step back and give members the space to work autonomously. Instead of controlling their group, they provide resource, guidance, and information. Several factors are holding the group back. To start with, one person is very critical of colleagues' ideas. You suspect that her fault finding is discouraging others from speaking up. Another has hardly contributed to the sessions at all. When asked for his opinion, he simply agrees with a more dominant colleague. Finally, one group member makes humorous comments at unhelpful times. These upsets the momentum of the decision. These are classic examples of poor group dynamics, and they can undermine the success of a project as well as people's morale and engagement. Group dynamics can be used as a means for problem solving, teamwork, and to become more innovative and productive as an organization as a whole. The concept will provide you with the strength, success factors, and measure of group dynamics along with other professional tools. Within an organization, we do find number of groups. Individuals joining group is a reality, maybe formal or informal groups. People work in groups quite frequently and in many different areas of their life, like at work, school, college, sports, hobbies. The managers need to understand group dynamics that can enable managers to adopt the right approach of interacting with them. Group dynamics is a set of behavioral and psychological processes that occur within a social group or between groups. It refers to the nature of groups, the laws of their development, and their interrelations with individuals, other groups, and larger institutions. As applied to group development, group dynamics is concerned with why and how groups develop. There are several theories as to why groups develop. A classic theory developed by George Homan suggests that groups develop based on activities, interactions, and sentiments. Basically, the theory means that when individuals share common activities, they will have more interaction and will develop attitude, positive or negative, toward each other. The major element in this theory is the interaction of the individuals involved. Social exchange theory offers an alternative explanation for group development. According to this theory, individuals form relationships based on the implicit expectation of mutually beneficial exchanges based on trust and felt obligation. Thus, a perception that exchange relationships will be positive is essential if individuals are to be attracted to and affiliate with a group. Social identity theory offers another explanation for group formation. Simply put, this theory suggests that individuals get a sense of identity and self-esteem based upon their membership in salient groups. The nature of the group may be demographically based, culturally based, or organizationally based. Individuals are motivated to belong to and contribute to identity group because of the sense of belongingness and self-worth membership in the group impart. Group dynamics as related to development concerns not only why groups form but also how. The most common framework for examining the how of group formation was developed by Bruce Tuckman in 1960s. In essence, the steps in group formation imply that groups do not usually perform at maximum effectiveness when they are first established. They encounter several stages of development as they strive to become productive and effective. Most groups experience the same developmental stages with similar conflicts and resolutions. According to Tuckman's theory, there are 5 stages of group development: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjoining. During these stages, group members must address several issues, and the way in which these issues are resolved determines whether the group will succeed in accomplishing its task. Now, forming, the various stages. This stage is usually characterized by some confusion and uncertainty because it is evolving and forming. The major goals of the group have not been established. The nature of the task or leadership of the group has not been determined. Thus, forming is an orientation period when members get to know one another and share expectations about the group. Members learn the purpose of the group as well as the rules to be followed. The forming stage should not be rushed because trust and openness must be developed. These feelings strengthen in later stage of development. Individuals are often confused during this stage because roles are not clear and there may not be a strong leader. Next is storming. What is storming? As various group stages. In this stage, the group is likely to see the highest level of disagreement and conflict. Members often challenge group goals and struggle for power. Individuals often vie for the leadership position during this stage of development. This can be a positive experience for all groups if members can achieve cohesiveness through resolution. Members often voice concern and criticism in this phase. If members are not able to resolve the conflict, then the group will often disband or continue in existence but will remain ineffective and never advance to the other stages. Norming. This stage is characterized by the recognition of individual differences and shared expectations. Hopefully, at this stage, the group members will begin to develop a feeling of group cohesion and identity. Cooperative effort should begin to yield results. Responsibilities are divided among members and the group decides how it will evaluate progress. Performing occurs when the group has matured and attains a feeling of cohesiveness. During this stage of development, individuals accept one another and conflict is resolved through group discussion. Members of the group make decisions through a rational process that is focused on relevant goals rather than emotional issues. Next is adjoining. Not all groups experience this stage of development because it is characterized by the disbandment of the group. Some groups are relatively permanent. Regions that group disband vary, with common regions being the accomplishment of the task or individuals deciding to go their own way. Members of the group often experience feelings of closure and sadness as they prepare to leave. One common way to classify group is by whether they are formal or informal in nature. Formal work groups are established by an organization to achieve organizational goals. Formal groups may take the form of command groups, task group, and functional groups. Command groups. Command groups are specified by the organizational chart and often consist of a supervisor and the subordinates that report to that supervisor. An example of a command group is an academic department chairman and the faculty members in that department. Task group. It consists of people who work together to achieve a common task. Members are brought together to accomplish a narrow range of goals within a specified time period. Task groups are also commonly referred to as task forces. The organization appoints members and assigns the goals and tasks to be accomplished. Examples of assigned tasks are the development of a new product, the improvement of a product process, or the proposal of a motivational contest. Other common task groups are ad hoc committees, project groups, and standing committees. Ad hoc committees are temporary groups created to resolve a specific complaint or develop a process. Project groups are similar to ad hoc committees and normally disband after the group completes the assigned task. Standing committees are more permanent than ad hoc committees and project groups. They maintain longer life spans by rotating members into the group. Next is functional groups. A functional group is created by the organization to accomplish specific goals within an unspecified time frame. Functional groups remain in existence after achievement of current goals and objectives. Examples of functional groups would be a marketing department, a customer service department, or an accounting department. In contrast to formal groups, informal groups are formed naturally and in response to the common interests and shared values of individuals. They are created for purposes other than the accomplishment of organizational goals and do not have a specified time frame. Informal groups are not appointed by the organization, and members can invite others to join from time to time. Informal groups can have a strong influence in organizations that can either be positive or negative. For example, employees who form an informal group can either discuss how to improve a production process or how to create shortcuts that jeopardize quality. Informal groups can take the form of interest groups, friendship groups, or reference group. Interest groups. What is this? Interest groups usually continue over time and may last longer than general informal groups. Members of interest groups may not be part of the same organizational department, but they are bound together by some other common interest. The goals and objectives of group interest are specific to each group and may not be related to organizational goals and objectives. An example of an interest group would be students who come together to form a study group for a specific class. Friendship groups are formed by members who enjoy similar social activities, political belief, religious values, or other common bonds. Members enjoy each other's company and often meet after work to participate in these activities. For example, a group of employees who form a friendship group may have an exercise group, a softball team, or a potluck lunch once a month. Then a reference group. A reference group is a type of group that people use to evaluate themselves. According to Starrington, the main purposes of reference groups are social validation and social comparison. Social validation allows individuals to justify their attitudes and values, while social comparison helps individuals evaluate their own actions by comparing themselves to others. Reference groups have a strong influence on members' behavior. By comparing themselves with other members, individuals are able to assess whether their behavior is acceptable and whether their attitudes and values are right or wrong. Well, my dear friend, I think that I have covered most of the part of group dynamics. The rest of the part we may discuss later on in the second part. Till then, goodbye. Meet you again. Hope you will enjoy the session. Thank you very much.